Hi, everybody. This is Kim coming to you from my home in Canterbury. And I know that these are some really scary times for a lot of business owners. And, you're seeing reduced sales. You might have to lay off some people. You're not really sure what's going to be happening in the next few months. And so I'm doing this conference for everybody to kind of go over what help is available to you. And there is help available, especially for business owners. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see some of the information that I have available on my website. And then we're going to go through some of the applications and how to apply and what to put in the different fields that they're requiring. Now, when I say business owners, I'm talking about sole proprietors with or without employees, partnerships with or without employees. It could be a corporation, a C Corp, or it could be an S Corp, and you could also be a nonprofit. We have some nonprofits, and they definitely are, this help is definitely available for them as well, which is really great. So you might be thinking, you know what, I'm not sure that I want to apply for anything because, things are, okay for right now. I don't think we need it. Maybe your sales are okay because it came in from December or January, but I'm telling you in the next 2 to 3 months, you just don't know what's going to happen. So it's better to get this in than not, in my opinion, because, this is a stimulus package to help people get back to work and get your businesses back on track. They want people in the United States to get some relief so that it's not probably ever going to be business as usual, but we're trying to get it back to that's what the government would like. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now so you can see all the different see if I can get this out of here. There we go. Okay, so on my website, if you go to edwardscpagroup.com/news, you're going to see or just go to edwardscpagroup.com, and there's a tab that says COVID-19 news. And this is everything that I've emailed out to everybody. I know that some of it is a little bit technical, so I would encourage you to go through these different things. Like there's a table here. There's federal relief, payroll protection, and self-employed. There's an application sheet. There's borrower information sheets. And we're going to go through a few key points on this webinar today. But like I said, I would encourage you to just go through this. It's all there. I really try to keep everybody up to date. If you know anybody that perhaps isn't my client, but they would like to have information, they're welcome to come here and see it all in one place to be helpful. Okay. So the first thing I want to look at is there are two tables here. One is all about the business loans. I'll show you that now. And there's the Paycheck Protection Program, and there's also the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Okay. Now, if you, there's also one that's just for the Paycheck Protection Program, but we're going to go through each of these on this webinar today. But before I even talk about that, the very first type of aid that is available for a U.S. citizen that is working, I think you need to be working, even part-time would apply to you. There is unemployment. And this is found at NHES for New Hampshire, Employment Security.nh.gov. And you can apply for unemployment unemployment even if you have no wages at all. Okay, so there are people on this call that say I'm a sole proprietor. I haven't been able to take a draw in 2 weeks. It's a go for unemployment. Now the catch is you have to apply for it every single week. So when you go in to the website and you apply for it, you want to remember that you have to go in every week and apply for that. And there's also some federal aid that I've heard of on top of that, but I'm not talking about that. We're just talking about the state of New Hampshire unemployment, okay? So The only other downside to this is when next year when you file your tax return, this is reportable taxable income, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. So, but if it helps you out in the short term and it can get you over the hump, you know, I would say that this is a really good place to start. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the business information. I touched on it just a few minutes ago, and the first one is the disaster loan assistance, and I'm going to show you this application, and it is a link on my website, but there's the website right there, COVID-19 relief.sba.gov/pound/business-info. Okay, and if you go to any SBA site, actually it's going to have this, and it's called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. All right, this is actually a grant, is what this is. All right, so when you first see this, without any of this information, see where it says business legal name and I put my business. If I didn't have one of those, see how there's a red bar next to that? Anything that's red is telling you that you need to fill that in or you're not going to be able to get to the next step, which is at the bottom of the screen. So you want to put something in here, which whatever your legal name is, and it might be Kim Edwards, and trade name is doing business as, you know, Edwards Consulting or something like that if you're a sole proprietor. And if you're not an LLC and you don't really have a legal name, just put in your name. Your name is fine, just exactly what we put on your tax return. So you need all this information. There's an EIN number, there's social security number, there's organizational type. And that is, if you look at the drop-down menu, there's an LLC, there's a sole proprietor, there's a C Corp, an S Corp, a general partnership. Those are the top four, obviously. So you're going, even if you're a nonprofit, you're one of those. And then in the next box, well, it says if you're a nonprofit, no. If you're, you know, franchise, you answer yes or no to these. And if you're a nonprofit, of course, you answer yes there. But as you're going down in the next boxes, see, this is what they're going to be basing your loan on. And that box that says gross revenues for the 12 months prior to the date of the disaster. Now I'm going to, oh, I don't have the information that goes along with this, but it is back on my site. But the gross revenue for the 12 months prior to the date of disaster, if you only were in business for 6 months in 2019, that's all you can put. So, you know, just be honest. Just put it in there. You're going to put in gross sales, and your cost of goods sold are your total expenses. And then if you have rental properties, you can put this in here, which is lost rents. I don't really have anyone telling me that they're losing rents at this point. But the next box that says nonprofit cost of operations. Now, see that doesn't have a red bar next to it? So even if you don't put anything in here, it's not required and it's not going to stop the application loan from going through. But it's real simple. It's your gross revenues minus the cost of goods sold. See 100 minus 60, I put 40 there. Now, I want to have you write this down. This information, those three pieces of information, gross revenue, cost of goods sold, which are your expenses, and your net profit, are on every tax return. It is on your 1040 and your Schedule C if you're a sole proprietor. It is on Form 1120 if you're a C Corp. It is on your 1120S if you are a sub S corporation. And it's on your 990 if you're a nonprofit. Okay, so that's where you find your information. A lot of people say, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Now, if you're a partner in a partnership and you and your brother are each 50% owners, of course, that 1065 partnership return is going to have the total for the whole company. So you just want to take those and divide it by 2. If you're 3 partners and, you know, whatever your percentage is, that's what you're going to take there. Okay. Same thing with the sub S who has, they have shareholders. There might be 5, there might be 2, you might be the only one. So you want to remember that. Okay. The rest of these questions don't really, probably don't apply to you. A faith-based entity, any compensation that you're getting is as a result of the disaster, you have to put that in, but I don't foresee anybody having to put that in there. And then you go down to, you put your address in, and if, as you can see, these are all green because I put information in there. If you take that out, it's going to be red. It will not let you go to the next screen, so you have to fill all this stuff out. Okay, so business activity, it has a whole drop-down menu. I did construction for the sake of this exercise, and the activity, it tells you, are you a construction contractor? I put flooring. You might be HVAC, you know, whatever. And the number of employees. All right. So if you are a sole proprietor, you're not really an employee, but these mean the people that, this means that the people, they're employees, which are people that you're paying a wage to with a W-2. It's not 1099 contractors. That's not what that means. It's number of employees. So if you don't have any, just put 0. You have to put something there. Then you're going to hit next. And these are, I put my husband's information in here just to get something in so you could see it. But here's an individual owner. And if you say, you know what, I've got another partner, you're going to file this on behalf of the partnership or the sub S corp. So you add in the owner, the other owner to it. Whoever's like got the other owner. If there's 2 partners, and you're each getting 50%, you want to put the other owner in there. And it's got all the same information up above. They're all in red because that means you have to fill that in. And you can keep adding them. You can add another one. Because at the end of it, when you're doing this for your corporation, partnership, or sole proprietor, and there are other people, not really sole proprietor, you don't need to do it for that one, but any of the other entities, you know, your partner or your other shareholders are also going to have to sign off on this because you're doing it for an entity, you know, kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. Way up at the top is your business owned by a business entity. You have to check, it's usually no, but you could be yes, but it's usually no. And every single field has to be filled in. With this owner, I have to remove it, or it wasn't going, this box down here didn't turn dark blue and I couldn't go to next. So if you can't go, there's something in here that you need to correct. When you click this, they ask the questions up here, you know, the government isn't going to loan to anybody. If you're a criminal, if you have you been suspended or debarred from receiving federal grants or loans? Have you been convicted of a criminal offense? Just answer those questions. And if anyone assisted you in completing this application, put their name and address here. And then you're going to check the box, I would like to be considered for an advance up to $10,000. Where to send your funds, and that's it. And then you click, I hereby certify this. Then you're going to print this out, and this is what you're going to bring to your bank with. Now, they're not asking for your complete tax return. You don't need to provide that. You're going to provide the sheet that has your income, expenses, and net profit. Your gross sales, your total expenses. It's usually on your front page of your corporate tax return. It's on your Schedule C of your 1040, and it is on the 990. I think it's like, well, I think it's on your front page also. And that's the only thing you need. The banks want to just know in 5 minutes where you got your information, and if it looks good, they want to lend you the money. It's really that simple, okay? It's not like a conventional loan where they're going to put you through a bunch of hoops you have to jump through or anything like that. They're ready to do it. If the SBA has a question, they'll ask you, you can go from there. But they're ready to give you this money. So don't make it more complicated than it is. If you don't have a copy of your tax return, it's a lot easier for you to go look for it, because I know you got a copy of it, either by email or paper copy, than it is for me to do it for 200 or 300 people. So before you ask, just please look, because it's right there if you need help on exactly where to find this information. But again, if you look, you're going to find it, because that's what a tax return is. It's basically a profit and loss statement showing your taxable income. That's basically it. Okay. So that is that for the 10,000 grant. Now we're going to go over to the Paycheck Protection. It's cut off at the top there, but the Paycheck Protection Program for borrowers, which it is called PPP. And this is a stimulus to get people back to work. So if you do not have any employees, you don't have to worry about this. But if you were thinking about getting employees and you don't have the money now, you could file this. And this one is a loan for your payroll costs times 2.5, and that's your loan. Now, I have firsthand experience with this. I just helped a pretty large law firm successfully secure a loan for $340,000. They have 26 people on their payroll. Their gross payroll is a lot. They pay 401k, and they also pay for health insurance. Those are all considered wages. Okay, so you want to start with, I told them start with your W-3, the W-3 that is filed with your payroll reports at year end. That's for 2019. Now it says here, and you can only cap if you have, there were a couple of lawyers there that were making over 100,000, they're capped at 100. So we just did an Excel spreadsheet. That's what they gave to the bank. Everything's good. They saw how they got that. Great. They didn't ask for individual W-2s. They didn't ask for any of that. They just wanted to see that they had some kind of payroll tax form, which is the W-3 tells it all. It shows the 401k, it showed the health insurance, it showed everything. So that was a really good document to use. And this is a forgivable loan if it is used for payroll, rent, utilities, and mortgage interest payments. The mortgage interest portion of your mortgage payment. 25% of that is for, 75% has to be used for payroll, and the other 25% is for those other costs I just mentioned. All right. If you take this loan out and you decide that you're going to use it to pay down a credit card, high interest rate, you can do that because this is a pretty low SBA loan, but this cannot be forgiven in bankruptcy. It has to, you have to pay it back. But if that's the case, it will not exceed 4%. Right now, they're saying that it's 1%. That's a pretty darn good deal. And it is, it's a 10-year loan. And I'm sure that they're going to even loosen up those guidelines in the next few months, because I know people, or business owners, are, they're going to need some more help. But starting April 3rd, which was this past Friday, I'm reading right off the sheet. Small businesses and sole proprietors can apply for and receive loans to cover their payroll and other certain expenses through existing SBA lenders, i.e. your bank. Wherever you do your banking, that's where you're going to go. You want to call them, call the loan department, tell them you have an account there and that you'd like to go ahead and submit this SBA PPP loan. Or the other one, the other SBA loan, same thing. And they're servicing their customers. I haven't really heard any banks doing it for people that don't have accounts there. So if you have a credit union, you're going to need to find another bank that does participate in this. I know Franklin Savings Bank does, Citizens Bank does, TD Bank, Northway, Bank of New Hampshire, and Merrimack County Savings Bank. Those are the big top ones. So you want to, if you don't have an account at any of those banks. You know, most of the credit unions are not participating in this. They just don't have the funds for it. So you want to ask them what bank, maybe they can refer you to one. So let's say that you are a sole proprietor and you're listening to me and you're saying, I don't have any employees at all. I don't have any payroll taxes, but I do have rent, utilities, and everything else. And I can show that I'm going to lose income because I am an event wedding planner and nobody wants to be, you know, in a public place with all kinds of people around, anything like that, or a restaurant or something like that. You can get relief through this, but you want to apply on April 10th. These are independent contractors and self-employed individuals can apply for and receive loans to cover their payroll and other certain expenses through existing SBA lenders. These lenders are really trying very hard to make these loans as soon as they are approved and enrolled in the program. So if you wait and you're at the bottom of the barrel and they have no more money to lend, you know, you just kind of got to be Johnny on the spot. You know, you want to get out there and get going on these. I'm telling you, these loans, this will take you not even a minute to do this online and print it out. It tells you where you can apply and who can apply. All businesses, including nonprofits, veteran organizations, tribal business concerns, sole proprietor, self-employed, and independent contractors with 500 or fewer employees can apply. Businesses in certain industries can have more than 500 employees if they meet applicable SBA employee-based size standards for those industries. Okay, all the fees are waived. It's just it is a great program. So I would tell you to go ahead and do that. Let's go take a look at the form. Now you're just going to see how easy this is. Okay, paycheck protection. You put your name, your address, average monthly payroll, right there. Let's say in 2019, you have a W-3 for your company, and it says that you paid out $12,000 in payroll, gross payroll, gross. Okay, so you have gross payroll of $12,000. This is saying average monthly. So if that W-3 is for a whole year, 12 months, you're going to take that 12,000 and you're going to divide it by 12, right? So in this scenario, it would be 1,000 in this box times 2.5 equals, that's your loan amount. Total number of jobs, meaning how many employees do you have? On the W-3, it tells you how many people. So it's like a really great document. It also talks about, if you go to the third page, it talks about if you're a seasonal business. I'm a seasonal business. Well, not really that seasonal, but during tax season, I need more employees, right? So if you're seasonal, there's a paragraph, there's a sentence in here on how you're going to use average monthly payroll. So for your seasonal, you know, let's say that in 2020, you hired 3 new people and then you had to let them go at the beginning of March. They had kids, they had to stay at home. You know, you listened to all the warnings. You said that you're gonna have to stay at home. You can't work remotely and I have to furlough you. All right, but you want to bring them back at some point, but you just can't do it right now. So in that case, you would take your payroll records for January and February, and you just divide it by 2. You take your gross plus 401k if you give them that benefit, plus their health insurance, and you take the total and you divide it by 2 months, right? Because that is the period of gross that you're looking at that you would like to have replaced when this, hopefully, horrible virus goes away. And so when you divide that by 2, that's your average monthly times 2.5, there's your loan. It also talks about anybody that's over 100,000, you gotta cap them at 100, and that's that. So if you go to the top of this, that's That's it. It takes you like 10 seconds to do this, honestly. If you are doing this for a partnership or a sole proprietor with husband and wife, let's say, you have to put each owner here and their title and the ownership. And down here with these, where it says initial, you have to both initial those boxes. So if you're in a partnership and you have two partners for this partnership, you're just going to do one application for the whole partnership, and both partners have to sign off on this, or three, or however many partners there are. And you have to certify down here, right, that what the loan is for. Those pretty rote, but you can read it. And if they're partners, each one has to sign this page. They have them for two, but you can you can add in more lines if you need to. And that's that for the Paycheck Protection Program. Like I said, on April 10th, if you're a sole proprietor, they're going to have a form, I'm sure. Instead of average monthly payroll, it's going to be average monthly sales or something like that. If you're an MLM company, network marketing, and you get a 1099 in, that gives you the total for the year. You can divide that by 12, and that's what's going to go into this box, times 2.5. Let's say you're a bookkeeper and you're an independent contractor, and people give you 1099s, you add them all up, and you put in the total. And the banks aren't even asking for 1099s. You can put it on a spreadsheet, just a quickie, or write it on a piece of paper and just give it to the bank. They're just looking to lend you money. So down at the bottom, you can check all of these boxes: payroll, rent, utilities, check them all. Even if you don't have payroll, you could probably not check that one, but make sure if you're a sole proprietor, the number of jobs has to be at least one in that box. And I think that's all I have to say about that one. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that. And I just want everybody to know that we're here to help you for sure. You know, we still have a lot of tax deadlines coming up for people. We're trying so with every breath that we have to get anyone that has a Schedule C as a sole proprietor, a partnership, even if your records are really, really messy and disorganized, we're trying so hard to get everything done for you so you can have the numbers that you need and get these filed for you. And so if you call and you need some help with these forms and it takes me a little, half a day to get back to you, that's what's going on. But I'm telling you, you can find this information. Don't overthink it. Just put it in and get it in. But we are here to help you. So we can check your numbers if you want us to do that quickly. But really, banks are not even looking that hard. I can tell you right now, the people at Merrimack County, they just want to get the help out there so that we can get back on our feet, basically. All right. So I want you guys to please stay safe. That's my biggest prayer, that you stay in and wear a t-shirt, men do that, or a scarf for the women over your, please, call ahead. And I have horses and I need grain, and I just call in the payment over the phone and they bring it out to my car. Because I'm not going into any public place. So I hope that you also take this so seriously, because we don't want any of this spreading. That is for sure. So just stay safe out there, and we will be talking with you later. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye-bye.